Cost estimating stands as a foundational pillar in project management, requiring credible, detailed, and definitive documentation to support financial planning and decision-making. This process demands careful approximation and evaluation, where every project relation and milestone must be assessed through rigorous preliminary and detailed estimates, ensuring that projected costs are realistic and justifiable. Robust cost estimating is not a one-off event, but an iterative process driven by continuous evaluation, documentation, and refinement to achieve definitive results. It strengthens the reliability of project forecasts by demanding a systematic approach to identifying cost drivers, approximations, and validations, ultimately minimizing financial risk and fortifying project success. Estimating costs is a key part of project planning. There are a few different approaches we can use, depending on the level of detail and information we have. First, bottom-up estimating involves building the estimate from the ground up, breaking the work into smaller parts and estimating each one individually. It's more detailed but takes more time. On the other hand, the top-down approach starts with an overall estimate based on historical data or expert judgment, and then breaks it down as needed. It's quicker but can be less precise. We also have specialized methods like three-point estimating, which considers optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely scenarios to create a more realistic range. Analogous estimating uses past project data for a rough estimate, while parametric estimating relies on mathematical models and data analysis. Each method has its place, and sometimes we use a combination, depending on the project's complexity, available data, and how accurate we need the estimates to be. Now, let's walk through the steps for building the cost baseline. First, gather all the necessary inputs. This includes your work breakdown structure, project schedule, cost estimates, and risk management plan. These documents give you the full picture of what needs funding and when. Next, use the project schedule to figure out the timing for each activity or work package. Then, apply a cost allocation method to assign costs based on when activities happen. Don't forget to add a contingency reserve to cover potential risks or unexpected expenses, but avoid overpadding with tiny, unnecessary amounts. Once you have everything, total the costs for each time period and plot them on a chart, creating what's called an S-curve, a visual representation of how costs will accumulate over time. Finally, publish and distribute the completed cost baseline to your stakeholders to keep everyone informed and aligned. When estimating costs, it's important to consider the lessons learned from previous projects. The lessons learned register often contains valuable cost estimating information that can improve the accuracy of your estimates. Depending on the situation, a specific estimating method might be chosen. If you have detailed information, bottom-up estimating may be best. If you need a quicker, high-level estimate, analogous estimating might work. When there's a lot of uncertainty, three-point estimating can help by considering best case, worst case, and most likely scenarios. For repeated activities, parametric estimating is efficient because it uses historical data and mathematical models. And if expert judgment is needed, that option is always available too. Learning from the past and picking the right method ensures stronger, more reliable cost estimates. When estimating costs, we must be thorough and detailed. Each estimate should focus on individual work packages and ensure there are no incorrect assumptions made. We need to review the input information carefully and decide which estimating technique fits best. If possible, we should look for alternative approaches to compare. Clear units of measure are important so that everyone interprets the estimates the same way. We also need to factor in possible risks that might affect the estimates. Finally, it's critical that all cost estimates are assigned to the appropriate account for accurate tracking and reporting throughout the project. After estimating the individual costs, the next step is aggregating the estimated costs. We roll up all the costs from the individual activities and work packages to create an overall cost estimate for the project. The result is a complete view of all funding needed to successfully deliver the project, including reserves for risks and any other financial considerations. This becomes the foundation for our project's cost baseline and funding requirements. Once the costs have been determined and aggregated, we move into determining the budget. This process involves several key activities. First, we define the cost baseline. This baseline is the approved, time-phased budget used to measure project performance. We identify and set contingency reserves for known risks and management reserves for unknown risks. We ensure that all necessary funding requirements are included. Then, we validate funding availability with stakeholders and sponsors to make sure the financial resources align with the project needs. Finally, the project budget is approved and authorized, becoming the official plan for how funds will be used throughout the project. This step is critical because it ensures the project has sufficient financial resources planned and controlled. As part of the cost estimation process, we use different types of estimates depending on the project stage and the information available. Rough order of magnitude estimates are made early in the project. They are quick, high-level estimates with a wide accuracy range of -25% to +75% from actual costs. Budget estimates come later when more project details are known. They are more refined, with an expected accuracy of -10% to +25%. Finally, definitive estimates are the most precise. They are created when the project scope is very clear, and their accuracy range tightens to -10% to +10%. The level of detail and accuracy improves as the project progresses. As a project progresses, it's crucial to predict future costs based on current performance. Estimated completion tells us the projected total cost of the project. It's calculated by taking the budget at completion and dividing it by the cost performance index, showing how efficiently we are using our budget so far. Once we know the EAC, we can determine how much more money is needed to finish the project. This is called estimate to complete. It's calculated simply by subtracting the actual cost already spent from the EAC. These two metrics help project managers spot cost overruns early and take action before it's too late. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to excellence and your dedication to mastering the profession. We wish you resounding success on your path to certification.